Welcome to 2 cents short of a dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents to keep it 100. We're your hosts, Motiz, Rue, back at it again. And today, can't deny it, we got to talk about the Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia fight. It's here, it's fruition, no more who didn't sign what, and it's all on the table, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes. Interesting, right? They've had 2 press conferences thus far, right? First one was lukewarm, right?
Yeah,
Where,
not really what I expected.
right, exactly. Now, the second one is what I expected the first press conference to be,
Yeah.
right? So I guess just give me your thoughts initially. How did you feel watching the second press conference from both fighters? And was it, what you expected? And more importantly, who do you feel like won the press conference, right?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Second press conference, kind of what's going around the internet as well. Is what kind of shocked me is the height difference wasn't as crazy as I thought it was. Of course, he's looking up to Ryan still, but
Right.
like for Gervonta, he was listed at like what, like 5'5.5", 5'6". Ryan's listed like 5'10" ish.
Right.
I might just not. It may be that, but it just didn't look that bad. If you ask me, Tank looked about like maybe 5'7", looking up at someone that's like 5'9.5" ish, So that was that was a little bit shocking to me. But they got a little bit more gritty. They both put hands on each other, literally, which I thought was cool, right? I was like, kind of shocked that Gervonta didn't snap because he seems to like in press conferences go crazy. But I think it's part of them. Like they have like this unspoken mutual agreement that we're gonna sell this fight, right?
Yeah.
So he put his hand in his face. Ryan put his hand on his jaw. Gervonta came and did it back. I was really entertaining. I like the banter back and forth between them. But I'm not gonna lie, Ryan's kind of holding his own up there, like better than I thought. You know what I'm saying? He looks confident. If he's not, then he's a great actor, and he's fooling me because I think he's confident up there. Um, yes, right now, if I had to lean, I kind of think Ryan's winning the press conference, man. What do you think?
And honestly, I would probably have to agree with you. I do think Ryan is edging Tank in the press conference war. Now, initially, I was a bit surprised, but there's a lot to unpack, during this press conference. I do like the banter, right? The back and forth banter, but more specifically on Ryan's side, I like the jokes he had, right? Especially the comeback, like, yo, you just fell off a rainbow from your last outfit because Tank tried to clown him with his pants, the pants he was wearing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yo, you're wearing heels. And he's like, bro, you got a purse. Like, so he was getting at him. I ain't gonna lie. He was getting at him a few points.
Quick comeback.
Yeah. And they were swift. They were, clever comebacks for sure. So in terms of from that standpoint, I think Ryan is definitely edging. He's also confident in himself. And I think that I probably learned a couple things during this press conference. Specifically, one, I initially did not know that there was a rehydration clause. We can kind of talk on that specifically. But also, two, that they're going to be fighting at a catch weight. Yeah. So I didn't know that. And of course, that's because they both can't agree to fight on one specific weight class. I know Tank prefers 135 and Ryan probably prefers 140 pounds. Yeah. Right. So I guess my question now to you is what did you think about, I guess, did you know about the rehydration clause? And also, what are your thoughts on, the catch weight?
So I knew about the catch weight. I heard from the start they were going to fight at 136, which I thought was pretty weird, but I guess it leans towards Tank being the A side, right? It's closer to 135 than it is to 140 because I'm like, if you're going to fight at a catch weight, maybe somewhere in the middle, 137. Okay. And I know it's only a pound, but we all know every pound counts in boxing.
100%.
So I knew about the 136. The rehydration clause I didn't hear about until just recently. And then, but I think going back to the banter that you spoke about, Ryan's like using it to his favor. Like, oh, you big bad Tank, right? So why are you weight draining me? Why are you weight draining me? And I think the weight drain is not only about the rehydration clause. I think it's about, okay, you fought at 140 before, but you don't want to fight me at 140. And then you want to kind of limit where I can go. And don't get me wrong, I support rehydration clauses because I don't think people should abuse it. But however, I look at Ryan and I know he's grown into the grown man body. I know you hear me say that all the time. But he doesn't strike me as someone that comes in fights like really blowing up though. So I'm kind
Yeah.
of shocked at how hard they were going at him with that. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on the rehydration clause?
Yeah, so with the rehydration clause, I think I'm probably on the same page as you. I was a bit surprised that that was something that they pushed for. Initially, it seems like Tanks can't push for that heavily, and Ryan knows that. But Ryan doesn't strike me as a person that is a very dangerous fighter, especially that balloons up to 170 come
Right.
fight night. I don't see that from Ryan. But of course, from Tank's side, they clearly seem to be a bit concerned about that. So me, generally, I don't care too much about rehydration clauses, right? Just in the sport of boxing, but I do know it comes with some negative ramifications. I know that sometimes boxers, when they have certain rehydration clauses, they can't function or fight 100% because they're a bit weight, quote unquote, weight drained, right?
Yeah.
And that affects how they take punches and how they also dish punches because they're naturally. So I got a question for you. Do you think rehydration clauses should be implemented in boxing? Do you think that should be a thing? Or do you think we should just do away with it and whatever, as long as you can make weight, it don't matter what you balloon up to. That's just naturally who you are. As long as you can make the weight, that's fine. Or do you think rehydration clauses should be actually be implemented more to kind of keep it a level playing field in terms of weight?
Yeah. No, I'm down. I'm down for rehydration clause. Like I said, if we're fighting at 135, I mean, I know you're gonna like gain weight before fight night, but I don't. I agree. I don't want to see you at 170. I'm thinking maybe. Don't get me wrong. I like the 10-pound clause right here, somewhere with 10 to 15 pounds. So if you're fighting at 135, 136 in this situation for this catch weight, I would definitely want to see you come in under 150. You know what I'm saying on fight night. So I support rehydration clauses. But I gotta also keep it 100. When you talk the way Tank talks, especially the way he's been talking about Ryan, I wouldn't
Yeah,
have. Yeah, I would have thought he would have said, Ryan, do whatever you want because you cannot beat me. Do you know what I'm saying? And then, in fact, I know on ES News they had a video of actually Tank saying how he felt.
He's a bigger fighter. He's a bigger fighter and he's only growing. Why would I fight somebody that's already you see how he was coming from like 170, 180. Why would I try to not have a rehydration clause in there so he could go back up to 150, 160 around the time we fight? No, I'm not dumb. People want you to be a dumbass. That's not being smart.
What do you think about what he said about the rehydration clause?
yeah. It seems like it's he really put. It sounds like to me he was leading the ship and pushing for the rehydration clause, and it seems like he was concerned about the weight difference, especially come fight night. So I would probably say I'm kind of surprised because I would agree with you when you talk in a certain way, especially when you're kind of like trying to shun Ryan Garcia during a press conference, and you kind of know he's too little for you. He's a little boy. You call him quote unquote little boy. I would think that that wouldn't be a concern of yours. I would. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they had a rehydration clause for Mario's Barrios, did they?
Not one that I'm familiar with, but also I know that fight was a little bit heavier at 140, but which is it should still be alarming because which means Barrios on fight night could have came in at what maybe 160,
Yeah, probably 160 that he's claiming Ryan is coming in at, but he
160.
probably considers Ryan a more dangerous
Exactly.
adversary compared to Mario's Barrios.
And I completely agree. Like, that's just the real sentiment. But I'm just saying when you talk down on him the way
Yeah,
you did, like he's nothing, it shows that there is some wariness there about something.
right. Yeah, I mean, shit, he probably felt like Ryan was gonna punish him for snatching him up in the club, like yoking him up.
I'm not gonna lie though. Ryan's last fight at 140, he looked strong though. Like I said, Ryan's 24. He's growing. He's filling out his frame. Exactly what Tank said is true, but I just didn't expect it from Tank. So I'm
Yeah,
not like shading him for it, but it just proves. And me personally, I think Tank's a very intelligent fighter. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Because he has different styles for different fights. If he feels like he can take punches, he'll kind of take punches. When he's more wary of something, he'll try to avoid that. So it's like something about Ryan makes him wary when Ryan is stronger, like he feels like he would be without this rehydration, or maybe if they fought at 140. But I cannot agree that I seen Ryan walk around and look 170, 180. I don't. I see that.
I've never witnessed that in any of his fights. Even when he went up in weight to 140, he still didn't look as, like a large. I'll probably look better than bigger than Ryan Garcia, right? And I probably got Ryan probably by, if he come in on fight night 150, we both came in at 150 pounds, I will probably look bigger than him, right? And that's because everyone's body size and composition is different, but I'm pretty sure I can probably put on weight heavier than Ryan Garcia. But nevertheless, I just don't see him as like, a large fighter, just in general.
And take this into perspective. Errol Spence said when he wasn't taking care of his body, he was ballooning up to like 180, 190.
Yeah,
right?
190, yeah.
I've never seen Ryan even look comparable in physique to Errol Spence.
Comparable. He doesn't even look like Jerome Boots Ennis.
Right.
And remember, Ryan Garcia is what, 5'11", 5'10"?
Yeah.
Spence is 5'9". Boots is what, 5'10", 5'9"? Yeah. So and when I look at Boots, even when he's dehydrated at 147 pounds, he looks bigger than Ryan at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they know something I don't, maybe it's just him being cautious. He knows he's probably taking a risk. And he's like, hey, I don't want to take any unnecessary risk with the weight, So I guess the next question that we gotta, or that I want to bring up is, who this fight happens, right?
Yeah.
First, let's talk about, do you think that this fight will sell, right? And where do you see in terms of projections, where do you think that the fight will sell? Would it break pay-per-view numbers? Do you think it's gonna kind of be underwhelming, overwhelming, or do you think it's gonna, if you could give me a numerical value of where do you think it's gonna hit, where would that be?
Right now, I'm sitting on 400,000.
Okay.
I'm sitting on 400,000, which I think will be a success. However, I think, I don't want to say casuals, but I think a lot of people who they've been clamoring for this fight, rightfully so, they may not be thinking straight, you know what I'm saying, or using logic and just past statistics and what's happened. I think that, big name, Ryan, 10 million followers, Gervonta, 4 million followers. Okay, they're gonna do close to a million pay-per-view buys. I don't believe that, but I do. And I don't want that to take away from the fight. So right now, my optimistic number is 400,000, and I still think that would be a successful event.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in my honest opinion, and I think I've told you this before, I think they will do at least 400 pay-per-view buys, right? I think now that I'm thinking about it more, I'm probably leaning towards 500. I think they'll do 500, right? Yeah. I don't think they'll do 1 million.
No.
Right? I'll be shocked, right, if they were to kind of pull that off. I can see it going as high as 6.
They got to get a little nastier for 6.
Yeah, I can see it going 6, only because if Tank was doing what, like, he was doing what, 270, he did at least 270 with what fight was that? I think it was the Barrios fight. It was a fight that he did. I don't think it was the last fight with Hector Garcia.
Could it have been Santa Cruz? Leo? Maybe.
No, I'm not sure.
No,
he generally does around the 200 to 300 range, right? If he can do that with those type of fighters, with Ryan, I can see him easily, like they can easily double that, right? Just to be safe, right? And I'm not a mathematician, nor am I in sales, right? But I can see them doubling that. But I think that they can reach 500, but I can see it going as high to 600.
What?
I think 600. I think they got to get Floyd Mayweather in there, and Oscar got to go toe to toe.
Oh yeah, that'll be dope.
You got to live on that nostalgia of that fight, and these are our proteges, and this is part 2. They live like some Rocky Creed stuff, right? I think if they come in there and sell it that way, they got to be like kind of disrespectful to each other in the fashion that Gervonta and Rolly were.
Right.
And then I could see, more people buying into this, But right now, I'm gonna stick with my number of 400, which I still think is a successful event.
All right, all right, all right. So I guess the viewers, y'all can leave in the comments how many pay-per-view guys that you think they're gonna do. If you think it's gonna be 1.5, 1.5. You think it's gonna be 10 mil, 10 mil. You think it's gonna be 100? Let me not get ahead of myself.
Jake Paul numbers of allegedly 750,000. You think they're gonna do 750,000?
I don't think so, but I did confirm that Jake Paul, it wasn't 750. It was actually closer to 500.
Okay, okay.
Which actually sounds more realistic.
That's still good numbers for him,
That's still good numbers, right? So